Release the Kraken!
Greetings, fellow game designers. Ron here at Lame Duck Studios, and today we are going to be taking our animation from our Axis Studio motion capture package, and we're going to be transferring that to another character. So in the previous video, we set up our Axis Studio character definition, and we reset our timeline so we have this animation. And you can see, of course, he has a broken wrist. We'll worry about that once we get that on him. And we also have our Axis Studio Maya file, very important. One of the most common mistakes is forgetting to save out your skeletal data as a Maya file. You do want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and open up my character. So I'll hit open. I'll go down. I'm using Luigi, so I'll get my Luigi bind pose. Open that. And here we are. So we have him. His character definition was set up in our last video. If you didn't do that yet, make sure you check out the previous video. Go ahead and adjust my timeline. And right now there's nothing on him. Before I put anything on him, I will resave out my Maya file so that I'm not ruining my bind pose. So I'll say File, Save As, and this is going to be Luigi underscore kick. Cool. Now that that's saved, I can do whatever I want here, and I still have my bind pose. Let's go up to File, and let's import a reference, or create a reference. Okay, and I'll navigate to my Axis Studio Maya file, so Axis Studio Luigi Kick. I will grab that, and then reference. Now the beautiful thing about using a reference is that you can change the original file, and those changes will update the next time you load anything that's using that reference. So here's the reference, and there he is, all nice and posed. And I want to go up to my character here. You can see this that I'm on character Luigi, and my source is currently none. If I hit the drop down, I have a Axis Studio skeleton source. I'll go ahead and just grab that. And Maya is going to assign it to all of his bones. And look, he is now in the appropriate pose. Of course, he's got a weird thing going on with his hand there. And if I go through, you can see he's trying to do the kick. His hand's a little bit backwards. Now I'm going to adjust my time here just to make sure everything's good. So I'll set this to 0, and I'll do that. So look, T-pose is good, and then he goes into his position, kicks, and then he finishes. And when he's done, he actually just walks away. Now we do need to reset our frame rate. You can see down here we're playing at 24 frames per second, but our animation was timed at 60 frames per second. So I will go down to 24 FPS. Let's go ahead and change this back to 60. That's been adjusted here. Let's go ahead and take a selection of our Axis Studio skeleton here, and you can see the animation, how it's been timed. Let me go ahead and just adjust this. And it is 1 per frame. That's pretty good. Now that I have that set, I want to make sure this animation is part of my Luigi character. If I go ahead and take off my source, you can see Luigi no longer performs, right? I want him to have that animation. So let me go ahead and reattach my source. But I also don't need all of the animation. You can see here, I don't really need the T-pose. And if I continue forward, at some point Luigi just kind of walks away. I don't need that either. So I only want to capture the animation that I care about. So let's go ahead and figure out what we need. I'm going to go ahead and scrub through and find a spot where I think the animation starts. It looks like it starts right around frame 80. So if I get on 80 and then I move forward, you can see he starts to get into it. So I think 80 is a good starting point. I'll drop down my first box here to 80, and that's going to cut off anything before that because I don't need that. I'm going to go forward until Luigi stops animating. So he's taking his pose, and then he kind of walks away before he walks away, but after he gets up. So let's see, right about, looks like 240. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one and set it to 240. Now I should just have the animation from there to 240. Now how do I get the animation to stay as part of Luigi? Well, we're going to use a process called baking. Before we bake, let's go ahead and open up our animation editor. So Windows Animation Editor, and go ahead and grab the Graph Editor. Let's take a look at how this is going to work. If I take my Luigi skeleton, you'll see that there's nothing here and there's nothing here. If I grab the Axis Studio skeleton, you can see all of the frames here. And you can kind of see that there's a line from here to there. Let's go ahead and grab all of the joints for that. So I'll go up to Select, Hierarchy, and that'll get me all of the joints for that Axis Studio skeleton. And you can see, if I bring this up here, that there is animation data way out here and animation data way out here. The only part that we care about is here in this white space. Okay? Well, how do I capture just this? Pretty easy. I'm going to go up to this little blue icon here. And if I hit that, I have a bake option. Now, you should also know that you can bake this from animation, key, and then bake simulation. There's also a box for that there. And this gets you to the same options. So here's this, or here, bake, and then I go to my skeleton, hit the options, it brings you here. The big difference, if you use this one, it will automatically select your skeleton for you. And you do need to have all of your skeleton's joints selected. So just make sure you do that. So I'll grab him, and I'll shift, hit the plus sign. I'll make sure all of that is selected. And again, we're going to go up to key, and then bake simulation. Go for the options. And we're going to scroll down. Before I do that, I'll hit reset. I'll go ahead and scroll down. And if we were to bake from here, bake, it'll go through and apply all the animation to our character. Now here's a quick thing. If I don't have anything selected, I can also go up to here. And what's convenient about using this option is if I grab Bake Skeleton from here, it already has my skeletal data in it. So I can just hit Bake, and it'll go through the process, and it'll just work without me having to select the whole thing. So you have both options there, but this one is a bit simpler. Okay. And there, our animation has been baked. And now I can remove our reference. So I'll go down, I'll select the reference, get the thing with the diamond on it, and then I'll right click, go to reference, and then remove. Yes. And now all the animation data is attached to Luigi. Yay. Now if your animation was perfect, you're good to go and you can export from here. If, however, your animation isn't perfect, stay tuned and I will show you how to fix it in the next video. Hey guys, thank you for checking out my channel. Miss Dinah and I both thank you. If you enjoyed that video you just watched, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Or if you want to support the channel, check me out on Patreon or pick up one of my books, Life and Times Dinah Marton or The Guardian's Path of Ascension. Speaking of which, I'm converting The Guardians into a graphic novel / comic book series. Here is a sneak peek. My wonderful artist, Patrick, is doing a great job. I'm excited. I want to push this out as soon as possible. So definitely keep your ears and eyes open for that. I'll be making announcements as we get closer, and I'll post some shots of that as we go. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can check me out on Twitter. I guess now it's X. Who does that? It's BruceRF1 at Twitter, or at whatever the new thing for Twitter is. Anyway, hopefully see you there, and I'll see you guys next time.